Well, for more, let's speak to Ali Vaez. He's a senior Iran analyst with the International Crisis Group, and he joins us now from Washington. Ali Vaez, thank you very much for speaking to us here on TRT World. Now, just how significant do you make of this attack, if it is Daesh's, their first in Iran, coming just days after Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states cut ties with Qatar, perhaps over Qatar's links with Iran?
It is very significant. As you said, it's the first time that ISIS has been able to attack Iran inside its borders. This wasn't for the lack of trying. There were reports in the past few years that the Iranians were successful in dismantling ISIS-affiliated terrorist groups inside the country, or those who wanted to infiltrate to the borders from Afghanistan or from Iraq. But this is very symbolic, especially in terms of the targets inside the country, the mausoleum of Ayatollah Khomeini, the founder of the system, and the parliament, which is the pillar of the system's Republican feature. So it's very significant, without any doubt.
Significant timing in significant places. Now, Ali, in the last sort of half an hour or so, Donald Trump, or the White House at least, have put out a statement about this. I'm just going to read it to you. We grieve and pray with the innocent victims of the terror attacks in Iran and for the Iranian people who are going through such challenging times. We underscore that states that sponsor terrorism risk falling victim to the evil they promote. Now, of course, Donald Trump sort of saying they are sorry about what's happened, but if you make your bed, you have to lie in it.
Well, it's a shame that President Trump couldn't add insult to injury. The reality is that there are a lot of other countries in the region that are U.S. allies and also support directly or indirectly some of the terrorist groups that are engaged in the region's proxy wars. And whenever something like this has happened in the region, the U.S. has only denounced terrorist attacks without condemning those countries' regional policies, whereas in the case of Iran, there's obviously a double standard there. And it's also important to note that the U.S. siding with Iran's regional rivals, Sunni regional rivals, especially in the Gulf, doesn't necessarily help de-escalate tensions that exist currently in the region and fuel Daesh and ISIS activities throughout the region. The reality is the more these countries spend their energy and focus fighting each other, the more they deepen sectarian tensions and fissures in the region, and the more they provide ISIS with opportunities to grow and recruit.
Absolutely. And it would seem, Ali, that those sectarian tensions seem to be being exacerbated by comments like that from Mr. Trump and also by some of the actions of Saudi Arabia. Now, with the re-election of Rouhani just a few weeks ago, a moderate, of course, in Iranian politics, is there a sense that with this attack, with the fact that all the Gulf states are being far more belligerent about Iran recently, that the hardliners in Iranian politics could start to take charge and we may end up coming even closer to armed conflict?
Look, it's too early to judge. President Rouhani himself has a security background. He was national security advisor in Iran for nearly 2 decades. And he has a lot of experience in creating a consensus within the system, which has many power centers and many stakeholders. We have to wait and see whether he is able to create a united front after these attacks from Iran, or some segments of the Iranian political system, like the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guards, would use this as a political tool to push back against Rouhani. Remember, Rouhani came to office with the promise of desecuritizing Iran's domestic spheres. And at the moment, he was just re-elected with a very strong mandate to deliver on that promise. But this coincides with the time that the IRGC actually would probably seek to securitize this domestic sphere.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Ali Vaez, we'd have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us.